Hello, in this video I'm going to be showcasing Reva Solution's integration between SharePoint and Oracle Aconex. We'll begin by showcasing the configuration itself before proceeding to showcasing the features of our integration, which include pushing documents from SharePoint to Aconex and the reverse, pulling documents from Aconex back to SharePoint. So, we'll begin by showcasing the configuration. To access the configuration menu, you simply click on the top ellipses and select the Aconex configuration menu item. This will bring up the menu that has all the configuration details, including the instance of Aconex, and, if we scroll down, any metadata fields that are mapped between SharePoint and Aconex. We can add new metadata mappings by clicking one of these green plus icons, and then simply selecting a field from SharePoint, and then a field pulled from Aconex. We're not going to keep that though, and we'll head back to SharePoint. Now, to showcase the main features of this integration, synchronizing documents. First, we'll go ahead and push an individual document. To do that, simply select one in SharePoint and click on the Push to Aconex action menu item. This will bring up a menu where you can see the details of the push operation, of course the specific document, and the exact action that the integration will take. In this case, it's going to create a new version. We'll go ahead and push this document. Note that currently Aconex version is version 6. Okay, looks like that finished successfully. We'll go back to SharePoint. You see now that the building plan document we updated has now had its Aconex version updated to version 7, and the last operation has gone to a push operation. The Aconex sync icon indicates that the operation was successful. We can also pull changes from a document from Aconex back to SharePoint. To demo this, we'll open up this building plan here, inspect the properties of the document, and select the Aconex document number. We see here this is the current content of the building plan PDF. If we go to Aconex and search for this specific document, we're presented with a list of the document's properties. We can go ahead and update this document, making a new revision and providing an updated copy of the PDF. We'll go ahead and click Update. All right. Now we're done in Aconex. Navigating back to SharePoint, we'll close the document preview. And instead of clicking the Push to Aconex action menu item, we'll click the Pull from Aconex menu item. This opens up the menu which showcases the details of the pull operation. As you can see, the action is now ready to pull. The integration will pull the changes made to the contents of the document and to the metadata associated with the document, that being the revision. We'll go ahead and start this operation. Okay, it finished successfully. Now we see that the last operation on our building plan was the pull operation. The document title, of course, has been updated. The revision has been set to revision D. And if we open the document, we can see that the changes that were made to the document have been applied. Of course, these operations can be done in bulk as well, meaning that we can push and pull multiple documents at the same time. To do that, we simply select any number of documents and click on the Push to Aconex or Pull from Aconex menu items on the top here. So if we push these two documents to Aconex, we see the same menu showcasing the details of the push operation, except now there are multiple entries for each of those documents. If we initiate this push operation, they'll simultaneously have their contents synchronized between the two systems. Both of those operations finished successfully. So if we go back to SharePoint, the Aconex versions have been updated, and both of those documents have had their operations set to push. Now I'll showcase how we can pull the changes from multiple documents back to SharePoint from Aconex. To do that, I'm just going to go ahead and update the revision of each of these documents. Okay, so on Aconex, I've gone ahead and updated each of these documents one revision. So these two will be revision D and this one will be revision E. We can go ahead and once again select all these documents and click on the Pull from Aconex menu item. You can see document details for each of these pull actions, and we are able to deselect and select documents from this menu as well. So if we change our mind, say we no longer want to pull a new version for the building plan we just updated, we can go ahead and deselect it here and simply complete the operation for only those two documents which we did select. Okay, those operations have completed. Returning to SharePoint, we can open up the document, inspect the file details, and if we scroll down, we see that the Aconex version was updated now to version 5, that the last operation that was completed is a pull operation, and of course the updated icon reflecting the successful synchronization. Note that for both of these two documents, of course, the revision was updated. If we were to select all three documents again and attempt to pull the changes for those documents, the integration is going to stop us from being able to select those two documents which we just pulled because their changes have already been synchronized. As you can see, we're only able to select the building plan, which has had its revision updated to revision E. The integration also allows users to view the transactions that have occurred on a document or a selection of documents. To view the transactions that have occurred for a single document, user simply selects a document and clicks on the Aconex Transactions menu item. This will reveal all the transactions that have occurred on this document. You can see the list of transactions that have occurred today. Of course, we're able to filter by date, so if we simply select today, click Apply, and search, we see only the transactions that have occurred today. We can also filter transactions based off their status. If we want to see only successful transactions, go ahead and search for those. And if we want to filter by transactions that failed, we can filter by that as well. If a transaction does happen to fail, then we'll be presented with information about why it failed in this error field here. Let's go back to SharePoint. So we viewed the transactions for one document. Of course, we can view the transactions for multiple documents as well, either by selecting multiple documents, or if we want to view all the transactions that have occurred in a site library, we simply click on the top ellipses again and select the Aconex Transactions menu item. This will showcase all the transactions that have occurred across the site library. We can filter by transactions that have occurred on a specific document by selecting the document number and typing it into this document number field here, and then clicking search. Let's search for all the transactions that have occurred on the building plan. As you can see, now the list has been filtered only to include the transactions that have been applied against this specific document. The most recent transaction, of course, being the updated version of the document to revision D. That's all for this demo. Thank you very much for watching.